Hi, good morning to everyone watching us, coming to you right from the park here opposite the Supreme Court for what the NPP, the opposition New Patriotic Party, are calling Save the Judiciary demonstration. Today is the 5th of March and it is much anticipated. As you can see behind me, everyone here is clad in red and black, and they're saying that they are protesting what they call political interference in the judiciary, which is one arm of government. Case in point, the suspension of the Chief Justice Gertrude Isaba Tokonom over the establishment of a prima facie case by the Council of State against her. Now, because we are here, I want to engage some of the people here and understand why they're pouring in, because we understand it's not only the New Patriotic Party, there are other political parties that are aligned and they're all gathered here to do this. So let me talk to some of the demonstrators here to understand how they're feeling and exactly what they hope to achieve at the end of the day. Good morning and thank you for speaking to us. You're live on Joy News. Tell us your name.
I'm Benjamin.
Benjamin, what brings you here this morning?
Okay, I'm here for the demonstration. I mean, with the demonstration of the illegal, should I say, the alleged removal of the CJ. So I mean,
well, it's not alleged. She has been suspended.
Yeah, I mean, from the suspension, after the investigation, then it goes to the next step, which is the removal, which we are fighting against, because now that's the third arm. That's actually the third arm of government, which is the legislature, judiciary, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. So if we are politicizing our judiciary now, then what's next?
But the fact that you say if you are politicizing our judiciary means that you know for a fact that they are politicizing the judiciary. But is the Council of States that established a prima facie case against
the Council of States? But I mean, to lead up to the Council of States suspension of the prima facie case, you could see that everything surrounding this current Chief Justice since the NDC was in opposition has been politics. When they go to the courts and their kids are being struck out, they say that the anonymous FC, which actually meant that from the onset they have tagged the CJ to be an NPP person from the onset, which has been very, very bad.
Have you followed the petitions, although they've not officially released them? Have you followed some of the ones that have been leaked so far?
Yes.
And some of the cases that have been raised against her, like sponsoring a private vacation and paying both her spouse and child per diem, does that sit well with you as a citizen of this country?
When you look at the Constitution actually gives space for, traveling of...
Yes. Well, you're live on Joy News. Well, I don't know what's going on, but it appears we cannot speak to some particular people on over here. They just yanked him away. But I'm going to try and engage some other people. Can you speak to us? Tell us your name.
I'm Ken.
All right, Ken. I don't know why your friend or colleague was pulled away, but you tell me. We're just trying to understand why we are doing all this. Let's move and then get this interaction going. So, from your understanding, exactly why are you protesting here this morning?
Once again, let me take this moment as an opportunity to greet the good people of Akemodan constituency. You see, some of us are here this morning just to protect against the unlawful dismissal of the Chief Justice. You know, as we speak now...
Because we're on national television, let's use the right terminology. When you say unlawful dismissal, she has not been dismissed unlawfully. She's only been suspended.
Suspended, right? Now you see, the question is, will she come back to work again? No. Because as we speak now, she has been replaced. You see? Yeah. So...
Well, he's acting.
Acting? Which means...
Well, hold on. We've just been told that Afenyo Makin, the minority leader, has just joined us here. And we'll try and get up close with him to understand. But for now, we know that Afenyo Makin has just joined us. Okay, and he's about to give us a speech. I think he's the very first bigwig or leader of the New Patriotic Party who's arrived here since the crowd started gathering here around 5 a.m. and they are all clad in red and black, and they say that it is a political interference in our democracy, in the third arm of government, which is the judiciary. And although the Chief Justice has been suspended, they are protesting the removal because they believe that the suspension is only one step towards the ultimate goal. So the penultimate step, which is to actually remove the Chief Justice from office. I'm trying to get up close with Afenyo Makin now and understand what he's doing here. Good morning, sir. You're live on Joy News. How are you feeling this morning? Are you impressed with the crowd so far? It doesn't appear Avenue Market wants to speak to us yet. Just a word from you and then we can go. Honorable, are you impressed with the turnout so far? Honorable, what do you hope to achieve at the end of today? You're live on Joy News, Honorable. Well, it doesn't appear Apenyo Maki wants to speak to us just yet. Will you at some point give us a speech?
I am protesting at Joy FM. You treat my brand unfairly. You have made me a target of social media ridicule. And I want Joy FM to change that attitude towards me. I've written a protest letter to you. You invite me on your program, and then anytime you invite me on your program, you have people on your online platform who deliberately destroy my...
Honorable, we'll deal with that later. How about today?
I'm dealing with it now, because any word that comes out of my mouth is likely to become another agenda setting. Correct it. Let's be fair. Joy FM, be fair. You invite me to your program, I come and you try to do that. Change it.
It comes across that way, but we are only reporting what we see and hear. Well, there you have it. That is the minority leader, Alexander Apenyo Markin. He says he has a bone of contention with the channel because, according to him, he's not really pleased with how our reportage. Well, we'll get into all that later. But I want to engage the people who are actually here. I want to get the understanding of exactly what's going on, whether they're pouring here, here at the park, opposite the Supreme Court, to really do something needful. Thank you for speaking to us. What's your name?
My name is Kwame Apenting.
Kwame Apenting. I was talking to some of the people here, and they're calling this demonstration a protest against unlawful removal of the Chief Justice. What do you say? Why are you here?
Well, like we are saying, we are here to save the judiciary. Because, like we do know, our judges, they can't speak for themselves. Okay, so, but this is a thorough assault on the judiciary. And herein symbolized by the CJ. And we've seen this in Ghana before. This was way back in 1963 when Kwame Nkrumah had to kick out Seako Kosa. Okay? We didn't think that we are going to see something in the 21st century where we've had how many decades of democracy. So this actually is a shocker to us. But well, the president being aided by the Council of State, we are saying that they being constitutionally supposed to serve as elders to the presidency. We are saying that Sankofa and whatever decision they've taken, we are praying the president that rescind that decision of suspending the CJ.
So two things. First, you said that the removal of Akukosa, and you cited some other issues. So the question is, if there are genuine grounds that the Council of State have established that it's a prima facie case, that doesn't mean that she's completely guilty. It just means that there's a need to probe further. Why are you protesting? Why are you protesting our democracy to take its own course? Because we have
there are certain things we can say that are questionable. Okay? There are certain things with the processes that are questionable that we are even saying that and has even been contested in court. So even with the process, there are some questions to be answered with that. But one key thing I would say, okay, from the scriptures, it says that but
I like that. Let's put a pin in it for a second. And we have the leader of another. Remember, I said that it's not only the opposition New Patriotic Party. There are other political parties here as well who are aligned with the cause. And we have the leader of the National Democratic Party. Is it right? Great. So tell us your name and tell us the intention behind your appearance here today.
Yeah, thank you very much. I am Alhaji Mohammed from Pong, the flag bearer and the candidate in the just. 2024 election. Well, we are here as a National Democratic Party to safeguard our democracy. And more importantly, also to express our views as how best the government of the day at least can govern this country for the ultimate well-being of Ghanaians.
Let me take you back. When you say safeguard our democracy, exactly what makes you believe that our democracy is at risk? For which reason you need it safeguarded?
You know, the NDC won massively, and that could be a trigger for them to think that, you know, they could do anything they want beyond the scope of the 1992 Constitution. And that's what we are cautioning them against. You see, the events that began since assumption of the reins of government, you know, is not comfortable. At least you've seen the earlier rates, you know, when there should be due process in even when you accuse somebody of wrongdoing. You know, this, you know, was not done. And that is quite dangerous. Two, the, should I say, arbitrary retrenchment that took place. I don't even know the statistics, but that is now running in the thousands. And that is even sufficient to impeach the president, because you are cutting livelihoods of people. And that is even more serious.
Right. You talk about safeguarding democracy, but it is the Constitution that gave him the right to do everything that he has done. In fact, where in the process, of course, there's an ongoing argument about whether the discretionary powers that the Constitution grants the president should be regulated. But what exactly has he done wrong? Because you're talking about the Constitution, and he's done everything in consultation with the Council of State.
Thank you very much. You see, running with the notion that discretionary powers to be exercised absolutely, and that is wrong. The Constitution sets what I call the limits very well. It says that it should be exercised candidly and fairly, okay, by due process, without arbitrariness and bias. And that is very, very important. So don't let us assume it is wrong for anybody to run with that notion that discretionary powers can be exercised.
I have to let go of you in a bit, but tell me, at the end of today, what do you hope to achieve?
What we want to achieve is to just say that at least even if the government, the president should exercise discretionary powers, that could be done incrementally. What we are now looking for is the fact that, you know, the mandate given to the party and the president, it is in expectation of well-being. You know, so it shouldn't be seen as if, it is a license or a green light for the president to go exercising discretion. Absolutely. And that is wrong. I'm surprised that even certain members of the learned community can be arguing in that manner.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Now, because the Chief Justice is a woman, I've heard so many arguments pouring in about how we should not do this, because we should not remove her because she's a woman. I want to hear from some of the women, especially the young women, to also gauge their understanding of what's going on. Hello, beautiful ladies. You're live on Joy News, and I can see your beautiful dresses. Save the judiciary.
Titumia ya diama o papai ya president sa onfa medi yeso say no obeye no ana if so obonyina de nsam na to nsane ani ehunu se oni nyina so obi a obetumi aka se obi di petition bi aba petition na was so hwetwem na hunu ade ewom a sibo hansa na watumi aka se me suspended no. It's a massive and I am normal or person or de to almost so. I almost said, Dabida. Ye PM and Samiso Memra. Name Metram or Mampeni who said, Kumasa for any abrepa. Acquire our dear Fason. Obedi a dear Mobakaya. Ya press conference, baby. If he said on person or them Rabbe Yajuma. On person or did due process, Abbe Yajuma. The open or person warrior. And no dear, I see your man home. Into na ye kan na show my panyin se o man na o ba ya wo so de ahobrase ani sitie na e ba ye adwuma no ye nyin di se sa na o pese o de hyase enti onya na ye bo no kokko sa obetimi atwe no ho afri asem we sem ama asomdwe abagana se de fata.
Ye can mu minority for makasa se bio aban ba ye tutu se ma bi e koso makasa tia wo be kase ne e koso yi e ma omanfo no gidi a woni wo e wo e kabima min kabi mu no e kofe
eye no kwasam se ama nipa no gidie no ekofom obi adwene ho se na se ni ahya ase de mfie na de bekọ henfa mfie nan no ehin ni ebegina ete ho akohia se onwene ho a ye na ye bonuso ama wanya yi se enye mere nyina na wo behu ne se wo betumi aye se de menu aka he o se ade nyina se wo beye but nye ni nyina na fata ye se ye beye ne sa eti ye besre no tichiu ye ma no ya sumdue ewo Ghana ehia ye papa enti babia wode o man no ko ene se de wagya no ho ema obi bia ye de wo pe no judiciary atemuafo no wo ne the last group of people enti yes wo ma ye enkoto ye na ye ntumi
so ye ne ye mame Patricia Piaje deputy minority leader leader pato with 1 minute per leader my yenhwe article 146 so man pani se oye ne etase wo ye who ni say
I want man.
So, minority leadership, and I am more train como, and I want a chile, Sentia, one in the what you say, yeah, mameno, at the every one of Monosabio and fat Niquemum. Yane, a one did more cotton MP, and Akasayane, MP for Mampon, and no I train como, Yane, MP for Achenda, Yera, Alexander Kwesiakwa. Atwetwe enkomo yane the deputy minority leader Patricia Piaje yane no nso so ayetwe enkomo ama no nso akire sentia ogitumu se sabio se de pese yeyi maame no efiri honom no ye maame isaba saki tokono no enya ade a efa no kwan mu ana yene no atwetwe enkomo no ye kwaso na yene ebinom nso so atwetwe enkomo na ya hwɛ sɛ san na ye bɛkɔ abusia sɛ wo bepie mu na wo Supreme Court anim hanma aha na ye de oyɛ kyerɛ no ɛhyɛ aseɛ na ye de ɛhyɛ aseɛ na wo hwɛ mo plans mu a ɔmo bɛkɔ baby sɛ Parliament House na wono akwakohwɛ na wode wanu die nsɛm so ade akodan the legislature no ɔmo firi hɔ no nso so a na afei ɔmo akɔ ɔmampani aso me no kasa de ye wo the Supreme Court a meyehwɛ sɛ de aneoma ɛkɔso ɛwɔ Supreme Court. I can tell you say a nipa aba from other constituencies rather than the Greater Accra region. Me hu hwe no kra no yene nkrofo bi akasa from the Central region yene ebinom so from the Ashanti region akasa na mom no won say ade a omaba yene the former education minister Dr. Deputy former education minister yene no so akasa Dr. Yaw Aduchum yene no akasa and afen so yene wono so a one aka so yene omo akasa yehu yewura Bernard Okoboya ono so ogina mu na chese ni nyina no so one hwe na etimi akose dia sade ekọ me no kasa dia Dr. Stephen Amwa yata ebo no emrane se stika no na woye nhia so emrase bedwani ono na nei wafro stage no na wode ne nsem de atuda. I can tell you say for the start no it has been very very packed here. Yeah, sadia amo eko edifa na yehwe my yenko na yene stika yenkotie nsem a stika yenko na yenkotie nsem a stika eka no ebi na yenhwe sadia ensem no kwa
Miniadom Fawansa etu obi abati Nakatia ne say Ujiana name I can't tell Ghana for you now, say, ya young from Swa, ya day, ya young from Swa, ya day, ya young from Swa, ya day. Ya to ya color television. I got to the black and white. Now, Amaya, when you found here, Amaya, come in cabin. Amaya, Echo say, that Obikurato Banum Amana. Now we need to go where we are. Amaya, dear Quay, Obiria, dear, Utiminka. Woman Betty and some no, and the woman that yes, so my Rubayachi Chiruomo, Yadima Kogumania say. And dear friend, the constitution I am rapping, you know. And yet you might be a messiah die. And yet you might be a Nassau man, no police in Yajuma, lawyer and Yajuma, court and Yajuma, and Yasu. Says I am a man on Muko Joma Mombrantam. I said, I'm running her, Mr. Mranya die. I'm running her. Is this the democracy we want to live in? No. This is not. A man in say about parliament, about Emra judiciary. Yani Yamrano, judiciary no ewa who didn't see now they are setting a very dangerous precedent in the history of Ghana. Omo pasu omo yebi bia na soja bana ba tetena yade mampo eba sabi omo say ofroka ya boss no anu na NDC pasu omo deba na pasa we do na kasa Davida Mr. We no go sit down, madam chitinas every day. Must Davida, Chaboy. We no go sit down, madam chitinas every day. We no go sit down, madam chitinas every day. Davida. Chaboy. I am telling you today that 2028. The new Patriotic Party of Ghana, the best party on the continent of Africa, the party that believes in democracy, the party that believes in fundamental human rights, the party that believes in the rule of law. We are coming back. We say we are doing what? We are coming back. We are doing what? We are coming back. We are doing what? We are coming back. And now we call Makola. Once you are Rastika, you are new at home. Me call magazine Kumase. Omsi Adai, you are new at home. I am telling you for a fact that the NDC do not believe in any law. The NDC people, they don't believe in rule of law. They don't believe in your protection. They don't believe in the preservation of fundamental human rights. They don't believe in the adherence to our democracy. Because when it comes to the law, go and read Article 1 and 2. Go and read Article 17. Go and read Article 30. Even in the major cases in our country, between the NPP and the AG, 31st December case, between Adolfo and the AG, I am telling you, great, remarkable JSK, Justice Supreme Court judges, such as Taba, Ekins, and Mosechi, all of them have affirmed the fact that when it comes to political questioning doctrine and principles of separation of power, it is the judiciary that has the biggest sovereignty. Even with the parliament, how come? Now me feel say I'm Amampanyi Mahama. I say oh the Asampana ba. Mpacho where Asampana? Asampani say adum light ana. Asampani say tomatoes ba kuya 5 cedis ana. Asampani say omo bless om dia koso ya ba ma na. Asampani say ujo we say oni ehubambo. Is that the good news we are talking about? No. When it comes to the NDC, I am telling you, everything they are doing today, omopa Omini Kose, Omini Fufuo, Omini Banku, Omini Tiosafe, 2028. The good people of Ghana, they are returning the NPP. Yes. And no matter what they do, in fact, everything that these guys are doing today, they are conducting those exercises in Flosino-Sini Hilification. Yo nyamibi on tonko no ya die. Yo nyamibi on tonko no ya die. The good people of this country have begun to realize the mistake they make. From the north to the south, to the central part of Ghana, to the utmost part of this country, our sovereignty is being undermined as a country. Our protection, our preservation, our happiness, our utility, our satisfaction. The NDC guys do not understand democracy. They do not understand the constitutional rule. They don't care about your future. Begin to walk to everyone that you know and tell him, sir, inshallah, by the grace of God, inshallah, by the grace of God, Allah Akbar, we are coming back. Kacha we are coming back.
We are coming back.
We are doing what?
We are coming back.
Nyankupo on show. God bless all of you.
Demonstration ya going. Enya amanyoko ba ko pa bi na anya na asam. Enya NPP asam. Enya NDP asam. Enya LPG asam. Enya Ghana asam ena yeka. Maame na otidwom eton bode no. Enya na asam na yeka. Fitani na o Kumasi magazine no. Enya na asam na yeka. Kapitani na o chokoro. Enya na asam na yeka. Enya ma edi ni pa kwakot eye bebre. Eti sa obi pasa. Oji judiciary no aya amanyasama aya nyina ya how kasia see ebetu sa anamoyi enti ebe speakers ahodo no onye opportunity na wo kasa. It is about the judicial order John Dramani Mahama epesa onso ofa edeka parliament any executive arm no I don't say empre you say enough is enough is enough. John Dramani Mahama, Ghana fought to Obama just for 4 years. He has only 4 years to govern this country. Ghana does not belong to him. Ghana is not for him. Obaye, on Kreti Ajuma Bakukra. And so over 50,000 people and the NDC for Ayomadi. I don't think that Yati and one Tereso. I don't think that Yati and one I see one treasure. And this what you are among yourself and for one. Some protest way, who can be? So among yourself, you second of form a brain, one on the floor. Obi on joining political party. But he is concerned about what is happening in this republic. Near Agos or Manimuno, a fan home. Esa, Oba, Uniabi, one Kayan, near Agoi, a Badun Yabino, Yaduko Jada Kamua. Na yabɛhwɛ political party atare ɛhyɛw wasɛm no yɛmfa mmerani na mmom yɛbɛhwɛ political party a wojoin na yɛde ama wo sentence sɛ wopɛ ne saa de atena fie sɛ saa nhyehyɛeɛ no na wopɛ deɛ a ɛnkɔ walk ne bi ɛnkɔ demonstration ne bi ɛntwane protest no na mmom wopɛ sɛ kabima minka biyɛ adwuma wopɛ sɛ kabima minka biyɛ adwuma wopɛ sɛ yɛn court no the independence of the judiciary no wopɛ sɛ yɛbɔ ho ban deɛ then you have every business to be part of this protest.
Democratic dispensation, and no say, Kamimum Kebi, Udemade, Mekano Waka, Adwinchere, native the Bugana Mano. Benamanoka say, and you know, Nakoso, judiciary, our man Ponwa, Wikita Marano, our interpreting Marano, our Ghana Memono. Oman penyi peso fa kwati kwembeso no say judiciary no and no na NPP amenyuko and a 1 million Ghanaians are who the danger ebe pose to economy no yes yempene mane mbaso yempene and yempene ocha ye be ye demonstration and near picket all embassies e wo Ghana memoa near declare displeasure to what the president is doing.
Would you say
excesses? Those excesses are a little bit discomfort. I mean, not very comfortable. More particularly, the whole process to suspend the chief executive is a serious jolt in our democratic processes. As a matter of fact, we were expecting His Excellency the President to be embarking on his well-being, people's well-being manifesto. And that we think should have occupied him more. Unfortunately, that is not to be. It appears as if the hawks in the party are holding sway over him, away from the direction that at least he intends to take. From afar, we all know that given to him alone, probably he will not be taking this course. And that is quite dangerous. What we are saying is that, look, the so-called massive win that NDC supposedly got is just an expectation from the people. And a mandate is a public good. It's for all of us. And once the mandate was handed over on the promises, we expect His Excellency the President to be much more engaged in those areas. The danger here is that he's being lured into thinking that that mandate is a license for the excesses. And then we say no, that will not safeguard our democracy. But more seriously, very informed and learned people are running away with the misinformation that the president has got discretionary powers and that he could exercise it absolutely.
Yeah, can you say? You're too Abama NDC, any president, Mama Bumuno. Your man license is set 1 year in your PBR. And no interesa, but a quack yes, son or mujin. So, or more mutintimu, a ma president, Near Shatran say, or more GDA, say a sabi, or more here some, a come, and is to come at the Omono, or betting me abwa, Amanaye, and yet I don't hear who know. And no, and yet, Kabimam Kabi Fappim. It's a hard joke. And I say, and one was said, Constitution, your dear friend discretionary powers. Article 296. Young Kasa, or my Penimbia, and also Biara or Tumino, every time be our pet. And no, and a lawyer for me, as you said, discretionary powers can be absolute. We say no, that's the danger. Ebasa, we are going to what we call command regime. It's in the president Pepiano Babayo, and yes, I know. At least the Pasaya democracy is here. Emma, Yang, any Yachirima. Ha, Tinamaniano.
It's a winner political party, winner political party, and now they are more to say, and so spend the money.
No, okay, the point is, how say was I suspended? Dear Nature,
petition has been brought to the president. Amamrani said, President, any Council of State in Casa, if it has been established, premier first case will move on. You go ahead, now any investigation. And that's exactly what the president is doing, and we have a problem with it.
That's it. Prima facie case now, I established, I was here. Dear Nokomu, Emma prima facie case, and President fire. And a dear paper, and a president too, so say, will be suspended. And you say, you're not to assume. Bibia or democracy, I was saying we are bustle. That's what we are saying. And no is the exercise of what you call the discretionary powers. It must be candid, it should be fair, by due process, devoid of arbitrariness and bias. That is all.
When you cast earlier, you made mention of the fact that said I was a high ebo or man penny attitude. What I said, my fact might be so I'm nominated for 7.
The judiciary is under attack. Now, judiciary, it is our last sanctuary. Sasem Sia, a honey in our cover. They say judiciary I come under political attack. And he has a you both sorry, judiciary, the independence of the judiciary must be protected. It's a name we have a judiciary thing, a chidom. Nayama, the president, members of the executive, and who say judiciary no there politics entimi kowem entiene yenyina ye baha ne abekire ya dwene say judiciary is the last institution say politics influence anything you
what be lawyer ni na any receive petition ni na why establish premier first with the process. You have a problem with the
process no the same constitutional provision one president invoke no actually say ono a o take decision no when judicial person say when judge and now say when somebody within the judiciary say or chire why say o invoke some provisions and it is by executive instrument and by a statutory declaration and why he is taking that line of action. It essentially Mumba and Magana 40 years. Sanchez and by on TV Maehu how they arrived at the prima facie case. And he said, oh yes sir, and yes sir dear. Also over the constitution.
Yera Andy apia kubi ono na chese ya no ayetwe nkomo no kan no na ogina mu adema omanfo mu asante achim ma yanko yera kabna openi yam akwa ba
mejusu abru
na ene de wo ye de wa
na ba u sta me ye wona be de wo house me ye de wo ha no demonstration tin ye wo ha no
demonstration mu ede empa na mo hwe so mampani be ye.
Oh, yeah, yes, obey and say, you say, my democracy, there are 3 arms of government, they move democracy. So, we share a crown, one penny a year. Yeah, my mate of Kunitura, I am no council. You make it a hard.
Ceciano, I say, when you petition, no, and the Juma. What did you say? A kwana wafaso edi disagreement no sabi enya papa
no petition idea no petition idea plan person mo establish here against omame no petition work petition on charge the frontier petition by until man the original so edi yi ma no si nche e pisa no hia because we here o hwe and the era mahama si sha no hwe the same arm of government no and the equita no and o hwe a permanent so omo overwhelming majority. You shall not cana, and this is bad. A better check the manners almost on Saturday. On Saturday,
and I must have young corner, Yanni, Yan honorable Senate and Casa. Honorable Senate is so a little more. None way.
Not to say, we are watching. Papa, oh, another well winning. Your mind, baby, I had your mind, you queen, a freezer and quay. Because some of mine, you have 3 arms of government. Now 1 arm government, a person or cheaper, we don't think it's proper. In fact, we have a governance structure now. You lay out where I was a chief justice and any issue you handle no. But the way I'm going to who clearly say intention no was declared long ago. Say I'm talking of NDC, I'm going to make this declaration. So I'm about and now, senior, no more person we say NPP are buying actually Supreme Court. They want to also bring in Omo Crawford, and to start that process, they also think they also the Chief Justice or the new person, and they even kick it and say, change Chief Justice. So I'm not surprised he said they are doing this now. And see the whole thing that is being done now, I am premeditated. I know more here. And we don't think he said we should run our country on that. We cannot have this situation persistent. We are not careful. We have a situation where government is changing Chief Justice. We are changing virtually all the heads of the various arms of government. It will not help us at all.
I was saying the vedas.
This way, Thomas, one more do
I was anti demonstrators ni bi na kasano na yenko na yene ona wo pato ama enkasa na fe yemusa no se ono nso ede na oka ede afa niema ekoso ewa sei na yenya yewura pato ama obani ma yenhwe ede ntina mo wa
yo that's say Omanpeni asset a committee. Saying fine Chief Justice and some petitions with the ban. But me, I'm a threshold for misconduct. The first to the Chief Justice we are very, very low. I am below par. And I feel say I'll see a protecting a judiciary. And my judiciary about 7 NPP minorities, buying.
Yeah, Patrick Boama and Edwin, come on. My movie out of the sound now. Yeah, clearly what exactly he's saying. Opening, what's the process? No, what or how do you process?
Me say threshold for the removal of the Chief Justice. Me share petition now. Way below the threshold. The Eka said, Obia misconducting one a very high bar. And yes, sir, near market triviality, see, I immediately said it's even covered by the judicial service policy. Okay, so be to crying on any crown in a bar. Was it within the policy of the judicial service? Yes. Now, okay, so Obia Tina case, so I'm a panel that decided one way or the other. Chief Justice or panel on F5. What about the other justices who sat on the case? Well, my emphasis judiciary now, boy, in your own buying and your politics. So, America, President Bush appointed Chief Justice Roberts. At the time, I think he was about 50 years old. Ofriho, President Obama Abba, President Trump Abba, President Biden Abba, President Trump Asaba Bim. The sanctity of the judicial system in America, whether it's a Republican Party or a Democratic Party, they protect it. And over here, judges, 8 minutes of Mampenino, EDCN because of deportation orders. Because the only arm of government, a president, a judges, the judicial service. And to say, the design institution also a politics. On my no, baby, I could do any papa. Intimacy man penny. Say he has the right to halt that process and dissolve that committee.
Nomination or parliament, you're one of the leaders in parliament. More time. Justice president nominated here no. Mekase 2 are still pending, and the nomination 7 now. But what can you know at that time? In someone what can they now? What can say?
Yeah, but President Bayer nomination is based on vacancy or retirement or death, as provided for by the Constitution. Now, time and President Kufuor had to hear nominations in your they were as a result of vacancies and now retirement. Justice Amegache, Ashikote, Wood, CJ, Omunina, normal time and so on. So that's a vacancy from Justice Tububa. There has to be replacement. Now, so your replacement is it against the law? It's not. Until our replacement, a judicial council, now about Parliament Appointments Committee, there's always a vote. So here Justice Kumsing guy there was a vote on the floor. It also happens in other jurisdictions. It's follow our due process.
President nomination, no
yeah. President has the right to nominate people to the Supreme Court. Nobody falls the president's power to vote to nominate people to the Supreme Court. Now, on principle, time a president any NDC opposition, I'm sorry, yeah, Pakistan Supreme Court. Then Assessor. And then Assessor I am nominating in past 7. I'm not against anybody, but on sound principle, say a bit more retirement. You said Justice Akayensu I retire February. So there's a vacancy. It is a President Mahama nominee to be. I don't have a problem with it. The constitution man president to me say on nominating so be retired and now you'll be free and now when there's a vacancy it's the right of President Mahama to do so. Until let's work on that principle. Now I say someone paying be a nomination not just all party court. No, that is what we must look at.
Patrick Abuama and yɛne no ɛretwe nkɔmɔ na wɔkasa afa the mono na afei nso the nomination na President John Dramani Mahama ɛne wa nominate 7 justices to the Supreme Court one hwɛ the process will be activated na sɛ mo activate we about parliament na parliament nso so ayɛ ɔmo deɛ na ɔmo gye ɔmo tumu a na kyɛ sɛ wɔn ɛkɔ the Supreme Court akɔkɔdi ɔmo dwuma na mo ɔhyɛ sɛ SSA baby ababeduru no ensese amanyo sem na yedura the judiciary manyasa emboa na oman no kabi mami kabi na fenso ne kanko no so ebetimi akọ ma yenhwe se ye ne nana bi ebe atwi nkomo ba ko pena na di mama okay ye koso na ye hwe se ebetimi anya wonu a wonu ye demonstrators ni bi na fe ye ne omo nso de atwi nkomo ha the Supreme Court a ne nyina no save the judiciary demono. The
final one will go to the Jubilee House, which is the third and final place that will end, and that will be at the seat of the presidency. There's some big men and women in the crowd as it starts now will be leading the charge, holding hands and making sure this will be a peaceful and an uneventful one for the NPP. It's one of the things that they have cautioned individuals already, that they don't want this to degenerate into any other thing. They want this to stay as it is, a cause to fight the establishment against the suspension of the CJ. Not just that, also to fight the processes triggered by government to remove the Chief Justice, Justice Gertrude Chokono. So there you have it. They're now moving here from the frontage of the Supreme Court, and they will use the NLA section. What we have also seen here vibrantly is the number of police personnel that are on grounds that will be helping, assisting these demonstrators to move from here in Accra or the Jonathan Atta Mills High Street all the way to the presidency. It promises to be a very eventful day for the NPP because they are fighting the cause they believe is unjust. But we also heard the argument from the NDC side on all that they have been saying that, well, the processes have been fair so far, unlike any that have ever been triggered since the Fourth Republic. So, I mean, we'll be trying to speak to some of these protesters who are in the crowd to see exactly why are they also joining this particular protest here. Bossman, how are you doing? Okay, so Bossman, how are you doing?
Very well.
Please, what's your name?
My name is Kojo.
Okay. So, I mean, why does it have to come to a demonstration for you?
Well, it is one of the, let me say, instruments available to us when it comes to safeguarding our democracy and our constitution, for that matter. We would write, we would speak, we would want to write petitions and everything, but ultimately, when you can tell that there's some adamance on the part of the executive, then you have no choice but to get your people together and then hit the streets using a very democratic tool like this to be able to express our viewpoints. Whatever happens, we understand the fact that the executive is politicized, parliament is a political institution, but the judiciary is our last frontier. That's where we all draw our safety. So if we have come to the point where we think and can tell that our democracy, or the judiciary for that matter, who is our protection, is under threat, then it is important that we come together and send a strong signal to government that please hands off the judiciary and let there be independence.
I mean, a demonstration only seems at the moment like you don't trust in the establishment. That the problem is that fairly to treat this whole process without political lens and to make sure that all the tenets as the constitution prescribes are followed. You don't trust that process?
What we are doing is an exhibition of our trust in the process. We are using a very legitimate tool, which is a demonstration. don't forget, before we got here, we had deployed other tools. The minority had spoken in Parliament, they have made their views known. They had written all kinds of letters, but the process that you are describing, we can tell, has been fraught with politics, right from the Council of State. Having established a prima facie case that we believe is not the case. Has anybody questioned the work of the Chief Justice in terms of her delivery? Absolutely not. So you can tell that this whole thing is just a big attempt to take out somebody who is doing her legitimate work, but it's not because. So yes, we trust in the process, but having avail ourselves of all the other tools and not getting the desired result or outcome, we believe that we also have to hit the streets and send the message across.
Kojo, I'm grateful here. So at least 1,000 people possibly are joining this protest today in their numbers to add their voice to what the NPP has said for weeks now, that the processes that have been triggered to remove the sitting Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono. They think that the process will be political biased and will not be in favor of anything. It's simply a political gimmick to remove her. They are already fighting the petitions. They're fighting the grounds for which the president forwarded the petitions to the Council of State and subsequently also to set up a committee. And all of these people are here to vent that frustration here. I'll be following some of these people in the crowd, bringing you all the reactions. There are lots and lots of people. Some of them came as early as 5 a.m. and are hoping to get their voice ahead at the end of the day. The likes of Minority Leader Afenyo Markin is here. Former Roads Minister Asenso Boachi is also here. We've seen the likes of Catherine Afeku and Leje Kuku, representative for the NPP, who lost that election. Okoboy is also here. And we are all joining this for same cause, that the suspension is unjust, and this is just a political witch hunting of the Chief Justice, who was appointed, by the way, by the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So let's try to see some more people here. What's my next saying? Time in over. What's it? And I pay your best time, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. Now, I don't know or come wire demonstration.
I remember coming demonstration is your president John Mahama. I say I didn't manage so but 4 years back. 4 years or so. I say Chief Justice you need you know no funny dear bra. Yes, we Nasa Wenu Abasu. So obviously why born enti obese you because the why no enye ono na nusu yemu no the why na enye e tare obese be you no otase your mama na ma ota tin obese Chief Justice no otukwa kakra we ekwa na otu obese ebe nche otu we tukwan we obese obe du we tukwan nzo otukwa na okunu no si onka chefe kakra onka chefe we yesu yesu yen chase se obekwa ka chefe ntire ya ba
We will not agree. We will not allow John Mahama and the NDC to meddle with the affairs of the judiciary. We must make sure that we protect our democracy and we protect the judiciary too.
But Mahama says it's been fair.
Who has been fair? Who? What shows the fair? Where lies the fairness? When at a goal he nominated 7 people to the Supreme Court, where was his fair?
But last year, the Chief Justice herself, who is now embattled, also nominated some people.
Is it not Mahama who said they should cap the judiciary? You came at the background that the judiciary should be capped. Why have you now increased the nomination?
Did you share the same sentiment?
You see, the judiciary is an attack. Mama, and the Fourth Republic. Is he suspending the Chief Justice? To me, it's unconstitutional. For me, it's unconstitutional.
But when they continue that way,
and he's preparing the grounds for a third term, which is so good. So we are calling all Ghanaians to rise up against this.
And when it happens this way, it means any Chief Justice that is appointed, his term will be contemnous with the city government. So the one who is acting is to make sure that NDC goes, he also goes.
All right, sure. So you just heard from some supporters of the NPP who also, explaining why individually they've decided to join this. And at the heart of it is that they don't trust the processes that have been triggered. They don't think that it's going to be fair against Justice Gertrude Tokono, and think that ultimately this is all part of a bigger plan to just simply remove her based on evidence that does not exist. But that hasn't been the position of the NDC. The NDC believes strongly that this process will be fair, or has been fair so far, and will continue to be fair, and that ultimately the committee that has been set up to probe the issues properly will do a good be free and fair. You don't think that the process is fair?
It's not fair. The justice must be free and fair. Justice, everything is supposed to be free, not what we are seeing now. You should be changed things for now.
So some people say, well, they don't think that it's been fair so far. This one says, "Esum edru yen." Well, it's intrigued, but I'm guessing that it says that darkness has come. This one says, "Stop undermining the judiciary." So a number of placards that have now been held high in the sky, and they are hoping that this demonstration will possibly force the hand of John Dramani Mahama to rescind that suspension one, and then call off the whole interrogation of the Chief Justice into allegations that have come on the front of a petition against the CJ for her removal at the end of the day. So scores of people here on the streets of the Kwame Nkrumah Tamils High Street, and this is in between the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum and the Supreme Court complex here, and they are all marching ultimately to end at the Jubilee House. Before Jubilee House, they'll be making a stop at the court complex here in the Accra Business District, and then we'll also march to the Parliament House, where they also deliver another petition to the second arm of government, and then finally send a last petition to President John Mahama at the seat of government at Jubilee House here. There's a charged atmosphere here, and as you can see in your shot, there are many uniformed security personnel here who are also joining this protest, not as protesters, but to guide these protesters to make sure that this does not degenerate into something else. The hope is that at the end of the day, this protest will be largely without any rancor and will not degenerate into violence at the end of the day. So there you have it. They are making their first stop. They are making their first stop at the Supreme Court complex, where we are expecting that they will deliver their first petition for the day. So we are still monitoring processes.
He wants to destroy the nation. We won't. We will resist it.
How is he destroying the nation when it's a legal process?
No, we know the judiciary is a dictator. We know the judiciary is a dictator.
I think that's not fair to him.
It's fair.
It's not fair to him because that's not fair to him.
Mahama is a dictator.
No, that is not fair to John Dramani Mahama. So
the judiciary still remains an arm of government. Yeah, which should be an independent. We've politicized the executive. The legislature is also politicized. Do we also want to politicize the judiciary? We must all come together and say a big no. Say a big no. There must be justice in the system.
Okay.
And justice emanates from the people.
All right, sure.
It emanates from the political class.
Thank you very much. So we'll go to the front where the processing group of protesters will deliver their first petition. I will hear from the leadership. I'm coming. So the camera guy will come pretty shortly, where the NPP and their allied groups will be delivering their first petition for the day. You can see there in your shot currently that
So they have to open it so they can see it.
So Afenyo Market, the minority leader, is leading the charge whilst they head to the main gate of the Supreme Court, where we understand that they will be delivering their first petition for submitting today. National organizer of the NPP, Henry Nana Boakye, as well, is here. So we are now at the entrance of the Supreme Court, where the NPP delegates or leadership will be possibly giving entrance into the place to deliver their first petition for the day. The likes of Catherine Afeku is on the grounds. Henry Nana Boakye is here, national organizer of the NPP. Also, former roads minister is here, Asensu Boakye. And then former education minister is also here, who was vying to be the vice president or vice presidential candidate for the NPP. Educhum is also here. And we are expecting that maybe some delegation coming from who representing the judiciary will come forward and then collect this petition from the NPP. So we are waiting here. The gates are closed at the moment. The gates to the Supreme Court enclave is closed, but leadership of the NPP are here currently awaiting for an audience from whoever will come from inside. But we don't know how exactly this gate was closed. But in the morning when I came here at 5 a.m. it was open, and people going in and coming out. But just when this demonstration got here, currently it's been the gates have been closed. So they're still waiting for more people to come, and then let me try and see if we get some more people to talk to. So
free the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice deserves justice.
Make you open inside. Make you open inside. Make you open inside.
Come. So I mean,
please, we want to talk to a pusher.
So we'll hear from some people here in the crowd why exactly they are joining this protest. So, I mean, Basman, why are you joining the protest?
Yeah, we are here to defend our constitution, our constitutional right. We don't want to live in the country. We will be like nobody controls. Do you understand? John Mama have lost his control. So we are here to defend our constitution.
Great. So you heard from him. They are here to defend their constitution here. There's a crowd, a raging crowd, just outside the main gates of the Supreme Court here. The gates currently are closed, but leadership of the NPP and the allied groups are here, waiting for an audience. Well, I don't know what exactly they are waiting for and who exactly they are waiting for to come from inside the Supreme Court complex to come and meet them. But they've told us that they have a petition that they want to submit to the judicial arm of government, and they are waiting for their turn as it starts now. We don't know again who exactly they are waiting for before this petition, and who exactly will be receiving this petition on behalf of the judiciary. Excuse me, can you? So you can see in your shot that a very calm, collected group of people here. So definitely lots of people are gathered here at the moment, waiting for the opportunity to do this. We are currently also waiting for a representative of the judiciary to also come in.
The Chief Justice deserves justice.
So while we are waiting for that, turn around and talk to us for a bit. I mean, I see you dressed. What's the inspiration behind your dress?
We are in a demonstration about the Chief Justice because we feel like we citizens, we are not doing any political or partisan something here. We're talking about Ghana, we're talking about democracy, we're talking about independence. We have democracy since independence, and that is what we're following. So we want to make sure our laws and our constitution are being followed. That is why we're here. The Chief Justice deserves justice. That is why we are out here.
All right, sure. So the Chief Justice deserves justice. You heard from one of the protesters here, and currently the leadership join you. The leadership of the allied groups will be submitting a petition. They have now moved very close to the main gates of the Supreme Court complex that is currently closed, bolted shut. They are waiting for the opportunity. I'll come to you. So I mean, Afenyo Markin and likes are waiting for a representative of the judicial arm of government to come out and take their position. So I also have the General Secretary of the Liberal Party of Ghana, LPG. He will join us. We had him several times. Their meetings with the Electoral Commission last year. But why exactly are you decided to join this protest?
We are trying just to resist oppressors' rule. John Mahama is taking laws into his own hands, and he's trying to destroy our beautiful democracy we've been enjoying since 1992. The most important thing is we are just telling John Mahama and his NDC to, as a matter of fact, remove the chairman of the committee.
All right. Go anywhere. So currently, we can listen into the activities on the front of this particular demonstration. Let us unite to uphold the great and strong. We are all, we are all, we are all. So the main leaders of the demonstration representing the NPP are now moving towards the main barricade or the main to the Supreme Court. This is led by Afenyo Markin himself, a minority leader, together with the flag bearer of the NDP, who's in a yellow cap, and then they will be presenting a petition to government, to the judiciary. Well, it's a bit tight, a bit chaotic, but we'll try to hear from the minority leader as he presents a petition to the judicial arm of government here. Let's see how that goes. It's in the company of former Deputy Attorney General, and then also finally he's also in the company of national organizer of the NPP, Henry Nana. Both of them will be substituted. They are preventing them from what they take a moment here. It's squeezing here at the moment. So the NPP will now present a petition. That's Richard Anyagba, who is the National Communications Officer for the NPP as well, is also here. Richard Anyagba is just standing by the gate, and he'll be helping his judicial arm three. The various will be marching through the high street to NLA, and then eventually use the ministry's enclave, and then head to the seat of government where John Dramani Mahama is expected as well. But currently they are waiting for representation from the judicial arm of government to submit their petition first to the judicial arm of government. Protesters have been here as early as 5 a.m. waiting to be a part and add their voice to this protest. A simple message that the processes, they don't be moved to get Justice get to talk on our side and get somebody possibly amenable or somebody they have in their to the judicial arm of government. You've heard the all born out of their distrust for the judicial setup. But we are currently again waiting for representation from the judicial side to come and take the petition or receive the petition from the NPP. NPP is not doing this alone. They are also doing this with the NDP, who is also here. I've also seen representatives of LPG who are also here at the moment. So it's almost 10 minutes since the leadership of the NPP and other political parties got to the frontage or the main gate to the judicial complex here in Accra, and they are waiting for a representative from the Jubilee House to submit a petition to the judicial arm of government on their opposition to the processes that have been triggered to remove Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono.
They're not picking for gates.
So at the moment, it's a scaffold to try and get into the Supreme Court complex. One small gate, as you see in your shot, is what has been opened by the Ghana Police Service to allow leadership to get inside the complex and then present their petition to government. It's a tight space and a big squeeze to try and get inside this complex at the moment. Some journalists have now been forced to climb the barricade, some of them standing on the wall to get a peep and a peek into exclusive happenings inside the Supreme Court complex here. But ultimately, this is the Save the Judiciary demonstration, organized mainly by the NPP, with support from some of the political parties, the likes of LPG, we have seen them around here, and also the NDP, their flag bearer is also around at the moment, who is joining leadership of the NPP to submit a petition to the judicial arm of government. Let's go.
Baby, I'm my brain. I'm fine. You tell her I'm a block from one. I'm fine.
Like I said, you're right.
The NPP and their partners have just submitted their first petition of 3 to the judicial arm of government, and they have received it now. They were led by the General Secretary of the NPP and Minority Leader Alexander Fenyo Markin, currently have the Deputy National Communications Director for the NPP, who is here with me, who will give us all the filler. Judge Krabi Asante, who will give us all the filler about happenings inside the Supreme Court here. So I mean, give us blow by blow. How did it go inside? Who exactly took the position? And what was the other response?
Thank you very much, my brother. You were there when we got to the gates. You can recount the number of minutes, if not hours, that we spent there in even getting access to the premises of Supreme Court. We were not discouraged. We were not perturbed about that. We waited, and then we managed to submit our petition. The leadership of the party, led by Honorable Afenyomakin, together with the leadership of other political parties, just as we indicated earlier, that this protest is a coalition of political parties. So everything is being jointly handled. We have leadership of NDP, National Democratic Party. He was there. Alhaji Frimpong Mohammed. He was their flag bearer for 2024 elections, and he's even their flag bearer now. We also have leadership of LPG. We saw their General Secretary. My very good friend Jerry was there. The General Secretary of our party, lawyer Justin Frimpong Kodia, was there. Henry Anabuachi, the organizer and leader of this particular demonstration, was also there himself. We had the mighty minority leader, I've mentioned his name, Honorable Alexander Kwamina Fenyomakin there. His deputy, Honorable Patricia Piaget, was also there. Honorable Patrick Yabuama, and a host of other senior members of our party.
Who from the judiciary came to meet your delegation?
To be honest with you, I don't know the name, but we were told that the person that was supposed to receive the petition was not around. So they assigned somebody to handle that aspect. But because of the numbers, I was not able to, get to the point where they were presenting the petition.
So effectively, NPP, why this demonstration?
It's very simple. This is not NPP. This is not NDC. This is not NDP. This is about Ghana. My brother, you will agree with me. Everything in this country is politics now. You will finish university, you will not even get job to do. So we are of the firm belief that let's protect our judicial order. Let's protect our democracy. We cannot allow John Mahama to politicize our democracy. That will not help you. That will not help me. That will not help all of us. Because, my brother, now already the executive arm of government is political. The legislature arm of government is political. The only arm of government that is apolitical is the judiciary. So we are saying that even Terry John Rawlings of blessed memory, who was a military leader, never attempted to do what Mahama is doing. This is a political coup d'etat. This is a political coup d'etat. This is an action against the democracy of this country. This is an action against the stability of this country. This is an action against the judicial order of this country. And we are calling on every right-thinking member of society to join with us and protest and say enough is enough. We are calling on Mahama to listen. If indeed he's a listening government, then he needs to resign his decision. If not, we are moving this protest from region to region. We are calling
effectively,
on
there are people who say that you did same as NPP, remove the, at the time, EC chair. What's wrong with triggering a similar process?
There are two instances here. When you read Article 196, it talks about procedure. It talks about things that the president can base on to remove the Chief Justice or any Superior Court judge. What we are saying is that I believe you have read the petition. You yourself, you have read the petition, my brother. What is in the petition that it holds enough water? That is enough ground to cause the removal of no mere person like the Chief Justice of the Republic. We are not against the president, functioning, but we are against when the president in exercising discretionary powers. The Article 23 of our Constitution clearly stated that in exercising judiciary powers, it must be fair, it must be free, it must not be born out of sheer hatred. It must not be political. I want to ask you, my brother, can you tell me on authority that the action by President Mahama is not politically motivated? Can you tell me that for a fact? This is politically sponsored. In fact, when the NDC were campaigning in 2024, they mentioned categorically that when they have the opportunity to come into government, they are going to chase out the Chief Justice. And the NDC has an agenda. Let me tell you the agenda. They want to remove the Chief Justice by all means. Then they will parade the Superior Court with members of the NDC. They will chase the Electoral Commission also out. Then they will seek interpretation to Article 66 of our Constitution, which will guarantee John Mahama an opportunity, possible opportunity, to contest for a third term. And reasonable Ghanaians, we are saying no. We are saying enough. Enough is enough. We are saying that we will protest with the last drop of our blood to protect our democracy, because our democracy is priceless. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bossman. So you just heard that from the Deputy Communications Director of the NPP, effectively saying that, well, the end result of this demonstration is for President John Mahama to rescind his decision to halt the processes for the removal of Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. Well, we'll be speaking to some more people. Why are they individually joining this protest here? At the end of the day, what do they want? We have just left the Supreme Court, heading towards to Parliament. Effectively, we are currently on the Atamils High Street, just almost close to NLA. We are currently heading towards Parliament. So let's engage some more people here. Bossman, so what's your name?
My name is Asafuji, member of Parliament for Busumi Freo.
Okay, I mean, individually, why do you think you have to join this protest?
For one reason, that we have done politics with education in this country. We've done politics with religion in this country. We've done politics with sports in this country. We've done politics with everything in this country. No, never should we do politics with our judiciary. That is why I'm here. Never should we do politics with our judiciary. We will make the noise, we will call on the conscience of Ghanaians, we will call on everybody that matters, that stop John Mahama from where he's going. If nobody stops him, then it should be remembered that there was a day that we told them not to touch the judiciary, they did. So the judiciary will forever be touched. That's all.
Sure, so you just heard that for the Member of Parliament for Busumi Freo. But essentially, what do you want John Mahama to do now?
You stop what he's doing. He should stop what he's doing. He should not go there. Where he's treading, it's very slippery. He has only one last term. He has only one last term. And if he set a bad precedent for this country, forever we will mention his name, that he caused this or he brought this upon Ghana.
I mean, for anybody watching us, they're wondering where from this suspicion that John Mahama wants to run for a third term.
I don't care about that. That is not from. I'm not here because of that.
No, but a lot more of your people marching today are making that point about John Mahama wanting to run for third term.
I am saying that I don't care about that. Okay. What I'm here for is that if John Mahama wants to run third term, the whole country will decide on that. It is not for him.
Okay.
But I'm saying that the judiciary must be guarded against. Look, even the military, when the military successfully do coup, they need the judiciary to validate them. When we do our NPP NDC and we are done, whoever wins needs the judiciary to give him legitimate power. Why are we touching the judiciary? Why should we touch the judiciary? Look, if it was easy that they were trying to remove the EC member, I don't care. Because it's politics. We've done politics with it. But the judiciary, no, never. Let us not try. But if they don't listen to us and they go ahead to do it, my friend, trust you, when Bawumia comes to government, this party, this country, it is after 8 years. Will come. When Bawumia comes, even if he's not willing to do it, some of us will get them out. The judiciary, the Chief Justice position will be coterminous with every presidency in this country. We don't care about the law. The way they are massaging the law, we will do same. So they should know that. That's all. That's why I'm here. I'm here to let the whole Ghana know that, look, from Busumi Freo, right from my place, I'm here. I'm telling everybody that this is why I'm here. Stop it. If you don't stop it, no problem. You set the pace for us, and we will forever follow it.
I'm grateful, Honorable. So you just heard the Member of Parliament for Busumi Freo, who is also on this demonstration, this protest against processes that have been triggered by the government to effectively remove Justice Torkornoo. She's the Chief Justice. And this is based on 3 petitions that have been filed with President John Dramani Mahama. He's already sent that to the Council of State, where they found substance enough to suspend the CJ. That has also been triggered. The Chief Justice has also been suspended, and now the NPP is demonstrating, asking for government to stop this protest. this process in its entirety?
The due response. I thank you very much, my brother.
All the best. So you just heard from Standogbe receiving the petition on behalf of the presidency, and minority leader just shook hands also with him here. But you heard in the last paragraph that although they've submitted a petition, they are hoping that government will read, digest, and then give them a favorable response. You heard some sort of response from Standogbe to the effect that, well, they believe in the processes that they have started and hope that the processes will vindicate, the process will start and end. Let me quickly ask Richard Ahiagba, who is here with us. Richard, you sort of gotten a response from presidency already, right?
Well, that's a response, is a premature response. We want them to go and study the petition. We're clear that our democracy is under attack. What we heard from my good brother Stan is a political response that just did that and deliberate on it. As leader said, the language is respectful. We've been very clear in our demands that the president should take his hands off the judiciary, allow them to be independent. They are co-equal branch of government. They cannot be subject to the executive. That's a simple message we're saying.
But effectively, the response to you that the process that you are against, that they have triggered, is that it's going to be fair.
The only thing you hear we haven't told him is that this is not about the law. This is about politics. Okay, the law is clear. It's been discussed. It's been written. It's there. But there are politics that decides to exploit the law, is what we're saying. They have premeditated ideas to remove the Chief Justice, go on to remove the EC, and then sponsor a certain interpretation of the Constitution to allow for the president to run for a second term. That's what we're saying.
Where's that notion from that? Where's that notion from that John Dramani Mahama wants to run for another term apart from this one?
If you haven't figured that out yet, then you are not actively in the media. You need to read the room. When a president comes, remove the judiciary, pack the court, then you know what is up to. So certainly read the room.
Yeah, I'm grateful. So the General Secretary, JFK, is also here. JFK, effectively, we heard from Standogbe, and he sort of gave you a response.
Yeah, his duty was to receive the petition, not to respond to the petition. If you wanted to give it to him or you wanted to address him, he's not the president of Ghana. So whatever he said is neither here nor there, which we are taking with a pinch of salt. The person to respond to the petition is His Excellency the President. He's the one who was voted for, not Standogbe.
But he gave you a response that, well, this process they believe they are triggered that you are against. It's going to be fair to Chief Justice get to talk about.
Then it does not lie in his bosom to make that pronouncement.
So who are you expecting to respond?
We're expecting the President. The petition is addressed to the President of the Republic of Ghana, not Standogbe. Who knows Standogbe? We didn't vote for Standogbe. It's the president that we voted for. And at the end of the day, it is important that the substance in the petition is what the president should pay attention to. We don't need to set a bad precedent in this country. Okay. We don't need to. At the end of the day, we are respecters of rule of law.
Finally, do you have how many days you want them to respond?
Well, at the end of the day, we are expecting the president to, as soon as possible, address them.
1 day, 2 days, 10 days, 2 weeks?
Well, we are expecting the president. If within a reasonable time it does not address, you will hear from us again.
All right, sure. So you just heard from the General Secretary of the NPP, Justin Frimpong Kodia, responding directly to Standogbe and the commentary you heard from Standogbe after receiving the petition. Just in the last seconds before Standogbe concluded, they had some members of the NPP shouting that, Massa, are you the president? We addressed this petition to the president. We want him to respond. I've been asking the NPP when exactly they expect the response. He says that in favorable time. I post, and he says that if after some time they don't hear from the government, more action is going to follow. We've also heard from Henry Nanabuatu, who is the organizer, national organizer of the NPP, who effectively also says that this is just the iceberg, and they have planned a number of actions that will follow this protest to force the hand of government to reverse the decision or the processes to remove Chief Justice Gertrude Chokono. So effectively that brings the protest 7 hours and counting to an end at the Jubilee House. They started all the way from the premises of the Supreme Court where they presented their first petition, and they marched all the way to Parliament where they submitted their second petition, and then the final one here delivered to John Dramani Mahama as the head of the third arm of government, which is the executive, and they're expecting that he will respond appropriately in due time, effectively, what they want is for John Mahama to reverse his decision. We'll be bringing you some more details. For Joy News, Michael Ashale, whilst we find some more people to interact with what they make of this particular protest. So the
the minority leader Osahiri Alexander Afanyo
And there, Ghana for Nature say, dear, I'm paying my money in a bank, you know, I'm now we have seen the masses in their thousands. God bless all of you for making it up. I'm paying Chief Justice. No more far or more for said the NDC for Assemba, no more coming. Said the Abeya, or what is out there, not just say, a constitution. But I see in there, I see China, not the change to you. Zaya Bedia catcher and this are banging there. Zawa Yano, Orum Ghana. I am Ghana for Yarent Naho. Now one fight to do some. One fan say, "Yak a mimicking." And there, Obibian and Yitria. Za SC Yaza Sumutri. And now, Yaza Belgium demonstration. Nayazi Asumutreso, Yazako. Yabata one Yarasi. They are catch someone there. Za Andy Sifashas Warrior, or in the Yanayada. Any on your NPP Funkutin Wejumo. All the political parties now we play together. Now we busy Juma or together. Mekana we are. Mekana we are. One say na mamo. What okasem kaka? What Juma? So our country Ghana is under siege. A call to rise, resist and defend
the judiciary. As we mark today, is so clear that the 1992 Constitution, the sacred covenant that binds us as a free and sovereign people, is under present assault. The very even before NDC under President Mahama could assume the reins of government, we saw a violent assault on our constitutional order. They established the so-called ORA, a committee without any legal basis or constitutional backing, which engaged in flagrant illegality. That was the opening salvo in what has now become a full-blown campaign to dismantle our sacred democratic foundations. Under candidate Mahama's leadership, the NDC deployed mercenaries and thugs to polling stations and collection centers across the country. And we all know what happened late last year. Honorable Ekuya Efriye, who has warned Ablekumano, the EC is asking for security to enable them to declare. NDC is saying they are not going to provide security. What is preventing the IGP, the previous IGP and the current IGP, what is preventing them from providing security for the Electoral Commission to complete its mandate? What we see is intimidation, bullying of state institutions, including the Electoral Commission. These mercenaries and thugs did not only brutalize our parliamentary candidates, agents and supporters, they mutilated our nation. They inflicted physical harm, burned down Electoral Commission offices, and destroyed vital. None of them has been held accountable in a court of law. Now under NDC, impunity reigns, and it is at the very top. Since assuming office, His Excellency the President has weaponized the security services, deploying them in retrogressive BNDC-style raids on the homes of political opponents. Dr. Addison, former Governor Bank of Ghana, and Ken Oforiatta are victims of such onslaught, including the ADC to former Vice President Mahamadou Bawumia. We say to NDC, this is not governance. It is tyranny, clothed in the robes of democracy. Additionally, President Mahama has arbitrarily dismissed senior military officers with years of faithful service. He has gutted the Ghana Armed Forces of professionals, experience, and neutrality. Our military, once revered for its non-partisanship, is now being painted in NDC colors. This is dangerous. This is a dangerous betrayal of the Republic. And why? Because President Mahama no longer sees himself as a president. He fancies himself an autocrat, a ruler for life. A number of guests at his inauguration told this story. Military dictators, authoritarian sympathizers, men of iron fists and empty conscience. And as if to erase all doubt, he donned full military regalia at a recent armed forces event, parading as commander of a nation he plans to subdue, not to serve. His every gesture speaks to a sinister agenda to break the Constitution and prolong his grips on power, abetted by a judiciary he is desperate to capture. This explains the relentless siege on the judiciary, a judiciary that has stood as a loud bulwark between autocracy and freedom is now his target. Today, the Chief Justice,
Gertrude Araba Isaba Saki Tokono, a distinguished servant of this republic, is under siege. The head of the judiciary is being dragged through a sham process of removal from office, engineered by a desperate president and a rubber stamp by a failed Council of State. Their goal is not justice, it is intimidation. It is a warning shot to every judge: obey or be broken. They do not seek a judiciary that upholds the law, one that bows to the will of a dictator, a bench bent to serve power, not principle. They seek to install kangaroo court under a democratic facade. What is happening is no accident. It is a warning, a threat, a ruthless message to a judicial officer that this is. Let us remember the event that the PNDC, the ideological ancestor of today's NDC, once murdered and enraged. That dark memory now casts a shadow once more as a Mahama returned with vengeance in his heart and fear as a shepherd. Let us, this time, instead of bullets and fire, the NDC uses nominations and intimidation. He has proposed 7 new appointments to the Supreme Court. Some competent, yes, but selected to serve his diabolical agenda. He wishes to fashion a judiciary in his image, subservient, pliant, loyal to party above law. It is no coincidence that His Excellency titled his memoir, My First Coup d'etat, and what is unfolding in our democratic institutions appear to be the second. But the judiciary is not his only target. Since returning to power, Mahama has embarked on a sweeping purge of the public and civil service. Hundreds of hardworking Ghanaians, professionals who have served government of all stripes with dignity and skill, have been dismissed without cause or hounded into false resignation. Their only crime was refusing to wear NDC's colors and submit to its whims. This is a direct assault on the principle of neutrality in our public administration. It is a betrayal of the values enshrined in our constitution, merit. On the Chief Justice were not enough. President Mahama plans to turn his diabolic sight on the Electoral Commission. We hear NDC operatives already out there without shame calling for the removal of the EC chair. They speak of accountability, but who do they think they are misleading? The Attorney General, the President himself, who boldly vowed to sanction any appointee who failed to comply with the constitutional mandate to declare assent before assuming public office, has so far failed to sanction these officials who breached